Hey, what's up? It's your girl AWTM, and if you love all the Queen's men, this is the place to be. So, this is season 3, episode 16. It's entitled Checkmate. Now, this is the last episode that's out there. I'm not sure if this is the last episode of season 3, period. There might be a season 4 when it comes back, but I know there's a break right now. So, in this episode's description, it says Trouble and Champ find themselves getting in trouble again. Madam is forced to make a difficult and deadly decision, and Amp and Big D reach a breaking point. So go ahead and like, share, subscribe, hit that follow button, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. So the episode starts off where we left off last week with the guys standing outside, and they're all trying to figure out who's going to tell Madam that Champ and Trouble just got snatched up. They decide on Midnight. So Midnight goes to tell Madam what's going on. She asked him, did he get a good description of the guys? He said, not really. He knows that the van has graffiti on it, and that's about all he knows. So she says, try to find out who it was, and he said he will. Now, Doc is outside waiting for Midnight, trying to ask him, why did he tell Madam about him and Detective Davis? He says, I have to tell her everything. Don't take it personal. And they kind of squashed that right there. Meanwhile, back in Miss Tandy's house, D.A. Rise is there. They're chilling, they're drinking, having fun, like old girlfriends, laughing it up, probably talking about the mayoral race and, what she's going to do when she gets in office and all of that. I do not trust Miss Tandy. I'll say that again. Now, Babyface walks in and he's like, what is she doing here? What are you doing? And she was like, oh, she knows that Babyface is from the club and she's wondering why he's there with Miss Tandy as well. So Miss Tandy kind of shoos her off and walks her to the door, and she explained like he's there and that has nothing to do with Madam. And she was like, "Are you sure? Because I know Madam can get under people's skin and make them do things for them." She assures her it's not like that. So Babyface kind of confronts her and was like, what is she doing here? What's going on? I know you're not trying to play Madam. And she says she's not. And she quickly turned his frown into a smile because she bought this man a brand new Rolex. So he is grinning from ear to ear. Miss Sandy loves tricking and he loves to be tricked on, and he knows his car is not too far away. Now we go to the scene where Trouble and Champ are in the basement of the people that they rob, which is the Black Rock Boys or Black Rock Boys, I believe. And so they're in the basement. They're upset. They wanted to get out. They've been beat up pretty badly. Our old boy Champ, he starts to cry in this scene, which is crazy to me. So we'll see what happens with them. We break to Tommy trying to feed Madam breakfast, and she says she doesn't want it. He gives her some juice. Midnight gives Madam a call and tells her that he has information. He knows that the Black Rock boys are the ones that have Champ in trouble. So he's going to try to figure out if he can get in touch with somebody or find a way to get them out. Then we go to the scene where we have Detective Davis rolling back up on Doc, even though they're not supposed to be seeing each other. But she says she wants to just be with him one last time. She says, do you have to listen to Madam? You do everything she says. And Detective Davis, she should know better by now than to play with Madam, but I guess she don't. And he is definitely playing with fire because he should not be seeing Detective Davis. She came back, she's talking, and she really wants to be with him again, and she acts like she's so in love with him, and they start to kiss and everything, and you know what happens after this, okay? I don't have to go any further with that. So we cut to El Fuego. He's in his apartment. He's starting to get these messages again on his computer from the hackers. So they tell him they cannot get in touch with Madam. So they have a message for Madam through him. They also told him that I see Madam bought you off with a new car. They tell him to tell Madam that she may win a lot of wars, but she's not going to win this one. So then the computer starts to scramble and it kind of goes away. Back to Trouble and Champ. So they have been roughed up again. They're bleeding. They're aching. Champ is actually crying. And it's nothing sadder than seeing a grown man cry like that. I know he's scared though. But they should have really thought about this before they just wanted to rob some people. Now, Big D shows up like a knight in shining armor. I know I talk about Big D and he's sneaky and all that, but maybe he's sneaky in a good way because he showed up to their rescue. So he's telling them he's going to get them out. He asks how many people are in the house, and he says, don't worry about it. Trouble is crying like a little, not Trouble. Champ is crying like a little bitch, telling him not to go. He's really losing it. Now, Amp shows up at Dime's house again, unannounced, with flowers, trying to tell her that he's sorry. He didn't say that. You know, Babyface did, but she was like, you didn't deny it. She ends up getting in her car, telling him to kick rocks, basically. And he ends up sitting there or standing there looking like a sad little puppy. Now, back at the club, Carla comes rushing in, and immediately she has the gun drawn on her. And she's like, dang, y'all so trigger happy around here. Yeah, because you just come busting in here. Nobody really trusts Carla because she's done so much shady stuff in the past. And if you don't know about the past, you have to check season 1 and 2 for that. But Blue especially does not like Carla, and Carla does not like her. So Blue is really hesitant to even take the gun off of her. So Madam finally gets her to take the gun off of her, and she explains to Madam that she knows where her dancers are, and she knows that the Black Rock Boys have them. So she says that she wants money in order to get them away from the Black Rock Boys, and she can bring them back to Madam. And Madam says, okay. Now, back at Doc's house, he's laid up with Detective Davis. They're all lovey dovey, laid up after having relations, getting them cheeks smashed. She's all happy. He's kissing on her, and she's telling him that you never kissed on me like this before. I'm glad you're opening up. And he kind of snaps out of it, tells her it's time to get up out of here. Now, El Fuego goes and talks to Madam at the club and tells her what was on this computer. She figures out that Concierge is actually the hacker, so she's relieved that she knows who it is. And he tells her that, they said you may win a lot of wars, but you're not gonna win this one. Now, Madam is, game face. She's serious about this because she takes this threat very seriously from Concierge and his father in law. So she's ready to actually go to war with them. Now, on the other side of the club, Big D walks in with Champ in trouble and tells Blue he presents them like he's a dog that went and got a bone that was lost in the desert somewhere. But he tells her that he found them, he brought them back to safety, and they should be okay. Now, they do not want to leave. Blue tells them that they need to go ahead and stay up in the locker rooms until the club is over with and they'll get them to somewhere safe, or she'll get them to somewhere safe. Now, Big D goes in to talk to Madam. He tells her that he saved Trouble and Champ. And she was like, you did all that and you don't have a scratch on you because the Black Rock Boys are very scandalous. And she was like, yes. So she was pretty impressed with Big D. So impressed that she decided to let him back into VIP. She also tells him not to go down there until she says so, or until Blue comes and gets him. She has the guys line up just to check them out to see how their body is looking. Then she tells them they're going to be getting a new dancer. She does bring in Big D, and look at the look on his face. He like, yeah, I'm back, ninjas. Yeah, now what? So they're all shocked. They're kind of upset. They don't want to split their money, and they really don't care for Big D that much because he does draw a lot of attention. Now, Amp is especially upset. So he tries to go and shake everybody's hand, after Madam leaves. And Amp says, F you. He says, I'd rather be F and dime. And then Amp just charges at him like he is so mad and so angry. So we know things are really coming to a boiling point between him and Amp. It's not going to be good. So out on the floor, Babyface catches up with Madam. He tells her that D.A. Rise was actually at the house with Miss Tandy when he arrived home the night before. So he tells her that they were talking and laughing. She asked him, did he hear anything? And he said, not really. And he just informed her of that information. She thanks him for that information and tells him to wipe that stinky, icy hot off his knee. Now look at Detective Davis. She has a shirt. And what is this shirt from? This shirt is from a night where Doc got into some trouble with one of his old concubines and she ended up unalive. So this whole time, Detective Davis was actually setting Doc up, pretending like she wanted to be with him, sleeping with him, and getting this information so she can report back. She's going to get some tests done on this shirt and she's going to try to take Madam and him down just from this shirt. The nerve of this raggedy heifer. Meanwhile, Carla comes back and says, I heard you got your boys back. I want my money. And Madam is like, I didn't get them back from you. You didn't do anything. So Carla actually walks in and she tells her, she's talking to her about the Black Rock Boys. And she was like, they are not going to let two rump shakers rob them and get away with it. So they want a life. They want somebody's life. One of them has to go. One of them has to be unalive. It cracks me up when she said rum shakers, but she delivers this information. She doesn't get any money from Madam, unfortunately. Blue is like, it can't be trouble. You can't do that to trouble. And Madam is like, really? Why not? She's been nothing but trouble anyway. So that scene ends. We have Dime out on the floor getting everybody hyped up for the dancers to come out. Now the dancers come out. They're coming out with Big D this time. They're walking out to the stage to perform, and everything is fine. They actually get up on the stage and they start doing their routine. Everybody's throwing a lot of money at them. Money's flying everywhere, and things look fine again. They're doing their different moves and the routines. Big D is keeping up. He's getting a lot of attention. And before you know it, somehow, and it looked like to me that Big D push Amp out the way to get in the front or something like that. But when he did that, it was on and popping. Amp just took off on him, and it was just a fighting suit. It looks like they were tossing Big D around for a while, and that kind of ends and is broken up. Now, Madam rose up on Miss Tandy to check her about having a little powwow with DA Rise. She's telling her that, you said that you were on my side. You said you were going to get rid of her, but I'm going to make sure you're going to get rid of her because you know what you're going to do? And she tells her that she needs to unalive DA Rise. And Miss Tandy is so shook, and she's like, I know you don't have a problem with it because I have the footage of you unaliving your husband. So she actually was the one that did that to her husband, which is crazy. So Madam threatens her and tells her that she has to do this for her and she better do it or she's going to let it out the bag that she did unalive her husband. Now, Madam is on her way back to the club riding, and she gets a call from her dad. She's smiling and she's happy, and she's like, hey, Daddy. She's very happy to hear from him. He's going to an island. He said he went with his nurse or whatever. She looks at the phone, and it's her dad tied up. They actually have her dad, and we know this is the concierge and his father-in-law, so we know what's probably going to happen to her dad. And she is so shook and so upset about this because she thought this happened before, but it looks like it's really happening now. And just imagine how messed up is that because you already had a funeral, a fake funeral, but this time if it does happen, you can't even have a real funeral because he's already supposed to be gone and not no longer here with us. So this is just crazy. I think this was a great end to this season. I think it left so many cliffhangers. Is Miss Tandy going to actually unalive her friend, which is DA Rides? Is Doc going to figure out and get to Detective Davis before she goes and tells on him? What's going to happen with Miss Tandy? What's going to happen between Amp and Big D? There are so many questions. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Get in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. This has been AWTM with All the Queen's Men. And I will see y'all with some other shows and some other things I have coming up. So stay tuned. Bye. Child, now I don't know what they was thinking about. Everybody's so messy. AWTM with the news you can use. TV shows and your latest celebrity news. Follow me on Facebook, Elise, YouTube, AWTM, TikTok, Elise with the message.